Yeah. So my name is Dorrene. I am president of the Society of Software Engineers. Some of you have probably seen me here before. This is the first of 3 freshman-oriented talks we're giving this fall quarter for Freshman Connection. They're geared towards helping you get started at RIT or helping you continue at RIT, kind of help you get your act together with all this kind of stuff. You know, generally not mess up college and learn all the things that we messed up so that you don't have to mess it up. So the first talk I'm going to give today is on productivity and how to get your act together and be organized and not miss all your homework assignments and all that kind of stuff. So some disclaimers. This is something that works for me. I'll give you kind of, workflow agnostic tips. So I'll tell you like how to solve the problems, not what you should do to solve the problems. But some things I say may not work for you. Just take it with a grain of salt, try different things, so on and so forth. I'm not your mother, so I'm not always right. You don't have to listen to me all the time. So just make sure you know that. Big disclaimer. Finally, this will get squishy. Productivity is not really. I mean, you can engineer productivity, but it's always a little bit of a I think I can do this because, or I feel this way. This is easier for me to do. So it gets a little bit on the creative end of the scale instead of like the math, hard science end of the scale. So just some stuff to keep into account. So why am I giving this talk? I do a lot of stuff. On top of all the SSE things that I do, I'm also the president of the RIT Fencing Club, which involves maintaining a whole bunch of weaponry and running 80 more kids on top of this and teaching them about how to hurt them or hurt other people. No, not that, but how to fence and be safe about it and hit other people with metal sticks without actually hurting anybody. So that involves a whole lot of work as well. In addition, I keep reasonably decent grades. I interview with a bunch of companies, talk to a whole lot of people, maintain a relationship and working out and side projects and all kinds of stuff. And if I wasn't organized at all, this would not be possible. I would just flail around wildly and not know what I'm doing at all. So my take on the whole productivity business, I did some Googling ahead of time to kind of see what other people thought productivity was. And I was like, this is a load of nonsense. Productivity is not, I can make to-do lists, or I can assemble all my stuff on my Pinterest board so it looks like I know what I'm doing. It's just how you do little things every day to make your life easier. And so you know that you're doing everything and you have the confidence to say, yes, I have my act together. I know what I'm talking about. I'm not forgetting 100 different things. So the question that you should ask yourself, the question that I ask you when you're thinking about how to be more productive, is what little changes in your life that you can make to do everything you want to do. Getting everything you need to do done is not being productive, that's just being a standard human being. Doing everything you want to do in your life, like if you want to go to the gym, or if you want to read this book, or if you want to play this video game, that's when you know you're productive, because you can do all of your necessary requirements for life on top of things that make you happy. So as long as you know what you're doing and doing things that make you happy, you're being productive.
Question?
Yeah, what's up?
What if you get everything you want to get done, but you neglect your needs?
That's not a healthy thing to do. I've been there. It's really, you burn out. It's a bad time.
Alright.
So, there's a balance to everything in life. Sometimes, that balance tips towards things you need to do, but try to get into things you want to do every once in a while as well. So, step 1 on figuring out how to do all of this is figuring out, your behavioral patterns, how you work, how you get your stuff done. So, do you like doing lots of little things? You jump back and forth on a bunch of different tasks? Or are you one of those people who are like, yes, here's this one giant homework assignment, I'm going to get it done. I'm personally a fan of doing like a third of an assignment every day for like 4 days, because it takes me 4 days to do a third of each assignment. I don't know how that works. 1 day is for proofreading, I guess. I don't know. But that's how I work really well. And through being at RIT and doing a bunch of homework assignments and all that kind of stuff, I came to realize that. So I know I have to start my CS theory homework a week ahead of time, or I know I have to start my essay, weeks and weeks and weeks before it's due. Because if I try and do it all at the last minute, it's just going to be awful, like really, really bad. Because I get bogged down in details, and I start freaking out about it, and panicking, and then I get upset and stressed, and it's just an awful time all around. Again, are you a morning person or a night person? There's been studies that I've read that actually say that really does matter. Being a night owl is a legitimate thing. If you work better at that time, that's great, you know. We're a lot of us here in the field of computing where hours are flexible, so you can come in later, whatever you want to do. You know, adjust your schedule to see what's right. I personally work better in the morning. Like, I get up at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. to just, like, do things I need to do, because I like being awake in the morning. Being awake past midnight for me is just, my head gets foggy, and it's just awful. So I make sure to go to bed at midnight, and then wake up early, and, you know, get all my stuff done for the day. Again, do you work well under pressure? I really like working under pressure. It works really well for me. Like, just instituting some kind of pressure for myself works really well. Even if it's just unplugging my laptop and saying, like, by the time my battery runs out, I need to do X, Y, Z. You know, just having that hard time limit just works really well for me. If that doesn't work so well for you, then don't do it, because I know some people panic. You know, just patterns like that. You know, again, this will take time, this will take effort. This is the hardest step, is figuring out, you know, what you want to do, how you want to do it, so on and so forth. But once you figure out, you know, things that make doing work easy for you, you can get into the process of, you know, figuring out what you need to do. So that's the next step. Once you figure out how you are best able to do your work, you should figure out the work that you need to do. This is just a whole bunch of different processes. You can have to-do lists, you can have a calendar, you can write it down on a piece of paper, you can have your mom call you with stuff. Like, it doesn't really matter. You should probably not have your mom call you all the time. You should be a productive member of society on your own, but it's an option that you can take. Personally, I have a Remember the Milk account, which is a website that just gives you a series of to-do lists, which is pretty awesome. Google Tasks is also good too, but it doesn't scale all that well, so like if you have more than 10 things to do at once, it's not going to work out too well. I know there's a bunch of Apple-specific solutions in that whole ecosystem, but I'm not too familiar about them, so I'm sure if you do some research, you'll have that as well. Make sure that what you're doing, you'll stick to it. I had a Google Tasks, you know, a whole bunch of things in Google Tasks, and it didn't really work for me all that well. Because I had to go to the Google website, I had to go, you know, fill in all the information. My phone is a Windows phone, so there's no real good Google Tasks app for Windows. So I, you know, switched to something that works a little bit better. There's a really good Remember the Milk app, and it just, you know, made my life so much easier. So again, find what works for you, don't be afraid to switch it up, make sure you'll stick to it. Because sticking to it is the hardest part in actually being a productive person. Also important in this step, if you have big, ridiculous things that you want to do, I find that it's better to break them down into tiny parts. So for example, I just have like this is a goal that a lot of people have, is to like lose a couple pounds after gaining the freshman 15. It is a thing, trust me. What you can do is say, I want to lose weight, but like what can I do to do that? So you go through, you know, drink water instead of soda, or walk to class, or eat things that aren't pasta all the time, you know, healthy, general healthy things. But instead of lose weight, which is just a not very actionable process, you have 3 little tiny baby goals that are not scary, not overwhelming. You can do this, that will contribute to your big overall goal. So once you figure out what you want to do and how you should do it, you do actually have to put in the time to do it. Like, you can, you know, go around in circles and be like, yeah, I totally know my behavioral patterns, and I've totally read all these productivity blogs, and I totally know what I'm talking about when it comes to GTD, and, you know, all these kind of calendars, and all these, like, Pomodoro processes, and then you just do that, and you don't get your work done. That's stupid. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. Don't be like, I know what I'm talking about when it comes to productivity, and then just, when they ask you what you did over the weekend, say I read productivity blogs and not get my actual work done. I've known people like that, so don't be that guy. This is the second hardest part, I think, because it actually requires that you do your work, and it's really easy to procrastinate by reading all those productivity blogs and like setting up your schedule. But just seriously do your work. Once you get started, it's not bad. Getting started is the worst part. Just kind of accept that, bite the bullet, and move on. Once you get into the swing of, you know, your homework or your workout or you're cleaning your apartment or your whatever it is that you're doing, it's really not that awful. You can play music, you can eat snacks. It'll be a good time. Also, important note, multitasking is awful. Like, don't do multitasking. It's really bad. You think you're more productive, and then you realize that, you know, 20% of your time is doing that context switching in your brain from task 1 to task 2. So instead of spending 50% of your time on one thing, you're spending, you know, 30% of your time, and then it's not getting as much done overall. So if you focus on one specific task, knock it out of the park, it's better than doing 2 tasks like in a really bad kind of way. So once you do all of that, you're awesome, and you know what you're doing, and you can be like, hey guys, I got all this stuff done. And your friends will be like, no, I played Minecraft all weekend. And then you'll be like, well, now I can do things with my life. I would play more Minecraft and not worry about my grades. So as awesome as Minecraft is, I love Minecraft, but it's not very productive. So make sure to get your work done. You have time to play more Minecraft or do it otherwise. So once you get through these all steps, it's kind of an iterative process. You know, make sure you're doing what you want to do. You're actually getting results, because if you tweak your whole work process and you're doing just as poorly as you were before, something's not working. So you ask yourself, do you have some kind of friction somewhere? Are you not entering your tasks in when you want to? Are you not looking it up? Are you just being lazy about it? Identify the individual specs that cause the whole issue, and it won't be a big deal. It comes back down to the I have a goal, separate it into tiny parts, that kind of thing. Every part of your day, like for your whole productivity cycle, you can optimize it with anything. Like for example, I had an issue where I wasn't eating breakfast in the morning, and I was miserable and angry, and my blood sugar would get really low, and I'd get dizzy, and it'd be awful. And so I was like, how can I better improve, my breakfast? How can I be more productive in my day? And so I bought, a little smoothie maker that has this little jar, and you put the jar in the blender, and it blends it all up for you. And in 4 minutes, I go from 0 to breakfast, and that's awesome. I have breakfast. I'm not angry all the time, so it works out really well. So just little things you can do, just refine your whole cycle. But keep in mind that if you spend too much time on any one given subject, you're likely to, nitpick at that at the expense of all of your other work. So again, work on being more productive, but don't let your work be making you more productive. Also, really important, you can do all the work in the world, you can do all the productivity in the world, but if, you're tired, or, you're not thinking straight, or you're just, exhausted all the time, you're not going to get as much work done. Be nice to your brain, and your brain will be nice back to you. Get proper amounts of sleep. Do actually exercise. I feel totally awesome after I exercise. When I do that, I'm more productive for hours afterwards. I get out, my blood starts flowing, it's fantastic. But if I sit in a chair all day, I just get tired and irritable, and it's not a very good time. Take breaks. I know that I'm one of those people who get sucked into something and then just work on it for hours, and then I get frustrated, and I start looping on little details. But when I step back, maybe take a break, take a nap, work on something else, I come back to it with a fresh mind, and I immediately see an issue that's wrong, and I can fix it. So, I can spend hours wasting it away on, one bug, and then come back the next day, and I'm just, ta-da, it's done. So just keep that in mind when you're working. So, in preparation for this presentation, I actually tracked my work habits to just kind of provide a case study for all you guys. This is a graph that you can't really see the colors on because our projector's not so great, on times that I spend doing stuff. I tend to break my day down into 5 different groups. Morning time, where I get ready for the day, and on-campus time, where I do the primary work that I do, like for the SSE, for fencing club, for all that kind of stuff. And evening time, where I just kind of wrap up little tasks. This is evening time. This is campus time. This is 11 hours of my days on campus. 1 hour is spent getting ready. 4 hours is in the evening. 1 hour is, getting ready for bed. And then this is sleep time, so that's 7. So I do tend to stay really focused for like the first 15 hours, and then I sleep, and then I get ready and stuff. So that's just how I've seen it working for my day. So I'm just going to go through how I'm productive, how I do my work, and then maybe you can take some ideas away for what you can do to improve your own schedule. So for that initial morning hour, it's just like waking up and being a people. I drink a cup of coffee and go get dressed and do hygiene things like showering and deodorant, which is really important, by the way. You should all shower. It's really important. Basically, my morning process also, like I'll be on the bus coming to class. I'll look at my to-do list, I'll look at my calendar and be like, yes, this is what I need to do, this is what I need to be here, I need to talk to these people. I get a light schedule in my mind for the day and know that I need to complete so-and-so task before I go to bed. So I can just start my day knowing what I need to do and getting ready to do it. So campus time is when I'm on campus, obviously. This is part of my campus time right now. I take care of school stuff, I take care of SSE work, I come to the lab, make sure everyone's okay, nothing's on fire. I'll go to the gym, maintain some of the weapons in the fencing closet, do some repairs, whatever I need to do. I just make sure to be absolutely 100% focused while I'm here, because once I go home, I'm done. Like, I will do homework at home, but like, I don't come back to campus when I go home. So, I want to have that divide between I'm doing work, I better stay focused, there's a time limit here, and I'm at home, I'm going to the gym or making dinner or whatever. There's a very clear divide between them. So, earlier on the slide I had mentioned that I do most of my work here, but campus time is when I get a lot of my work to do. Mostly, all the assignments are just like, do something by next week, or do something by Thursday, or hey Dorrene, you should email this person by this other day for SSE work. And none of it's usually on fire. Which, by on fire, I mean something that's due immediately. So everything I do gets dumped, I write a remember the milk task for it, dump it into the inbox, and just don't worry about it. I'm like, okay, I know I have to do it. I'll get to it later. And then I just take care of the rest of the stuff that I already said I needed to do, just kind of churn through my to-do list, so on and so forth. This is straightforward, I just do work during work time. So finally, evening time, I go home, I'm like, hooray, great day at campus, got a lot of work done. Go to the gym, make dinner, read a book, watch cat videos. This is kind of a combination of relaxing time and getting little bitty things done time, but I don't do overly stressful things at night because I do enough during the day. And finally, go back. Nighttime, I go through the inbox. Remember how I said I dumped all those tasks into my inbox? Before I go to bed is when I sort all of those. So I say, okay, I said I would email people about our new sofa, and then put it in the inbox under SSE, give it a priority, give it a due date, all that kind of stuff. Know what I'm doing. So then I can look at my to-do list and be like, okay, this is due tomorrow. I better wake up early and get it done. Or I better, I can sleep in today, or whatever. Finally, I just want to stress this again. Getting sleep is really, really, really important. I know if I get less than 6 hours of sleep, I am like a blob sitting up here at the mentoring desk, like unable to talk to other people. So, again, stressing, your brain needs your rest, your body needs your rest. You will get sick really easily if you don't sleep. I run into that in the winter all the time. Just, be nice to your body will be nice to you. You can get more stuff done. So, moving on from maybe looking at what I have been working on and how I do my day, what you can do to maybe start being more productive yourself. First things first, take lots of tiny baby steps. If you try and switch up your schedule all at once, it's just not going to work. You'll be like, yeah, I'm super productive, and then 2 weeks later, you won't care at all because it's completely different from your normal schedule, and it's just awful. Try making a calendar or a to-do list if you don't do this already. If you have made a calendar or a to-do list, actually use it. Look at the various productivity apps for your ecosystem. Like if you are in the Apple ecosystem pretty thoroughly, you can do some research in that. If you have a whole bunch of Google stuff, like Android or whatever, you can look at all those things. There's tons and tons and tons of awesome apps out there. Just do some research, you'll find what you want. Any questions? You good? Awesome. Thanks, guys. Wait, did you have a question?
I did have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So how much time do you usually find you can fit into a day for being productive?
Any more than 12 hours and I get antsy.
Okay.
So it's like, I can push 15 to 18, but then it just wears me out for the rest of the week. And that's like concentrated productivity time.
Okay.
Any other questions?
So what happens if you schedule yourself I'm kind of in a situation where or I kind of was, where I scheduled myself so tightly packed, and then at one point I wondered whether I should just drop some things that I can to free some time up, and then I kind of second guessed myself whether I really am packing. Where do you draw the line to packing yourself too tight and then too tight of work and schedule and all this other stuff, and then giving yourself oh, I just gave myself 5 hours more of free time and I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
So where's the line drawn as far as hours and are there you just mentioned like something about hours, but I mean, is there like a workload people should try not to exceed?
It depends on what you're doing, because if you love what you do, it's easier to do it. You know, if you're taking a whole bunch of classes that you absolutely hate, yeah, you're gonna do less because you're just like, oh, this is taking forever and I hate it and it's hard and whatever. If you start getting sick because you're so stressed out, if you start losing weight because you're so stressed out, if you stop sleeping because you're so stressed out, these are all things that have happened to me. So like at that point, you're like, my health is being affected. I should probably scale it back. That's just kind of my life. Anything else?